Fans have been worried about Ariana Grande for quite a while now, and mostly it has to do with her appearance. Since filming her movie Wicked, Ariana has changed her appearance drastically, and one thing people have noticed is that she's lost a lot of weight. Like, so much that you can see her bones sticking out, and fans have been worried about this, theorizing that she could have some sort of eating disorder. Now, there has been a lot of speculation about her appearance, and Ariana actually addressed this in a video she posted online. She made a TikTok reminding followers, you never know what someone is going through. Even if you are coming from a loving place and a caring place, that person is probably working on it or has a support system that they are working on it with, Ariana said. So be gentle with each other and with yourselves. She added, there are so many different ways to look healthy and beautiful, adding that her previous figure people were comparing her to was the unhealthiest version of my body. I was on a lot of antidepressants and drinking on them and eating poorly, and at the lowest point of my life when I looked the way you consider my healthy, she said. But that in fact wasn't my healthy. Now, some people though don't believe her and think that she's saying this just to shut people up, but it seems like it didn't work as more and more people have been commenting on her appearance. Now, many people also speculate that she could have changed her look so drastically to get people to talk about that instead of her home-wrecking scandal. You see, Ariana was married to her partner Dalton Gomez when she first started filming Wicked, but then it was discovered that they separated and were getting a divorce. Then, rumors swirled that Ariana started a relationship with her Wicked co-star Ethan Slater, who apparently at the time had a wife and a young baby. People online were calling her a homewrecker and bashing on her constantly, with this becoming a huge scandal. Since then, Ethan's now ex-wife has come out and said that there's been no cheating and that she was separated from Ethan when he and Ariana got together. Some fans though don't believe that and think she's just saying that to protect Ethan and Ariana. Not to mention, Ariana has struggled with mental health challenges her entire life as she's gone through many traumatic events. In 2017, one of her concerts in Manchester was attacked and 22 people passed away due to it. Then just a year later in 2018, her ex-boyfriend Mac Miller passed away due to an overdose. Now, he seemed to be head over heels for Ariana, while she had moved on to another relationship and was engaged to Pete Davidson. Due to this, many people online blamed Ariana for Mac's passing, which simply wasn't true, but she received a ton of hate and it wasn't fair. So as you can see, Ariana has gone through her fair share of troubles, and we hope that she gets the help that she needs because she's an inspiration for millions and we don't want to see anything bad happen to her.
Is Drew Barrymore okay lately? She's got fans worried. Here's what I know. So Drew Barrymore just dropped an Instagram reel, her New York City apartment tour, and honestly, it's a glow down of epic proportions. Not the luxe Hollywood loft you expect, more like your cool aunt's place stuck in the 80s with a hefty side of, did she get lost at home goods? So picture this, Drew, bright tie-dye tee, pink sweatpants, hair in a ponytail, walking us from room to room. She's sentimental, funny, borderline sobbing, yes, like in her bathroom mirror over Home Depot buckets and ladders. She says, why do I do this to myself? I mean, who hasn't stared down an air fryer or a pile of laundry and thought the exact same thing? Fans are shook. Comments range from plain Jane apartment, if I ever saw one, to OCD triggered, why all this clutter? Now, one eagle-eyed viewer even spotted a vintage E.T. lunchbox, which is, you know, homage to her Spielberg days. Drew's pad is messy, like toys, clothes, a plastic kid's table next to a gold lamp, and flamingo wallpaper. Then there's the office, tiny, full of pink flamingos, and Drew just trapped inside. She's not shy about it either though. She's having emotional breakdowns, frustration, happy dance moments. At one point, she cradles a stuffed turkey. Yes, stuffed turkey, and declares the turkeys are staying. Honestly, same, Drew. I mean, we all have that one weird thing that we just can't part with, right? Now, why does this matter? Because it flips the celeb script. Drew's a Hollywood icon, $125 million cosmetics empire, talk show superstar, and yet she's living in a messy, cluttered loft that looks like it's straight out of a thrift store treasure hunt. I mean, her fans love it. They're literally cheering, saying she's so real, no chef, me neither, and most saying, you know, this is so wholesome. One person even said it felt like she just bought her first apartment and never left, which is honestly a glowing compliment, not a burn. Now, this isn't new though. Back in March 2024, she went viral cleaning and cooking in what looked like a very ordinary kitchen. No glam, no staff either, just Drew in her element. The caption said it best, I like staying in, I know everyone thinks it's boring, but it's really not. And she danced around, mopping her hair up like she was kind of auditioning for Happy Herman of the Year. Drew's vibe, well, down to earth. Between NYC and the Hamptons with her kids, Olive and Frankie, she moved east after her split from Will Kopelman, now saying she wanted stability and normalcy. And you know what? She nailed it. She told people last year, "This has been the best decade of my life. I've slayed more dragons than I ever have." She continued to say happiness is a choice. You have to work for that. Little messy apartment and all. Now let's be real. We watch celebs to escape, right? But there's also something comforting about seeing them struggle with clutter, tackle a DIY project, break down in tears over broken drawers. It humanizes them. It makes Emily Drew, not just Drew Barrymore, the celebrity. So what's the takeaway? Drew's not okay. Her apartment is a hot mess, but we're here for it because through the clutter and the vintage ET lunchboxes, she's reminding us life isn't perfect. Glam gear doesn't shield you from Home Depot tears, and the real magic, well, owning your mess, cleaning it up, you know. I mean, remember when Hollywood promised perfection? Drew's saying, nah, show the mess, keep the turkeys, choose happiness anyways. And that is TV gold, social media serotonin, and exactly why we love her.
Britney Spears is blowing through millions like it's Monopoly money. And nobody, not her family, not her advisors, can stop her. Loved ones are panicking, and the internet, well, they're having a field day. Now, let's talk the facts. Britney made tens of millions of dollars last year. Yeah, tens. But she's burning through it like it's confetti at a New Year's Eve party. Reporters say it's fast, public, and completely uncontrolled. The IRS, probably sweating. Family, seriously alarmed. Friends, maybe considering witness protection, and subtly, forget it. Britney is out here posting videos, making out with mystery men like it's a TikTok challenge. Girl, the restraint left the building years ago, probably right after the bangs incident. Now, the public sightings, iconic. Britney leaving a wine bar with a champagne flute like she's the mayor of Party Town. But the internet, it's in meltdown mode. Half the fans are cheering and the other half are clutching pearls, and the rest are live tweeting every sip. The spectacle is so loud you could hear it across the planet. And Britney, well, she's smirking, living her absolute truth. If chaos were an Olympic sport, she'd have a gold medal, a trophy, and a sponsorship deal. Now, her family is panicking. Sources say loved ones are seriously alarmed by her spending, posting, and life choices. The advisors are probably pulling their hair out. Paris Hilton tried to check in, saying Britney's doing really good. But, sweetie, blowing $40 million in a year and posting it publicly is not doing really good. It's a full-scale, headline-grabbing meltdown. Reality check, the girl is a headline factory, and chaos is basically her business plan. And here's the kicker, she isn't broke. She made $40 million last year alone, but her spending, it's wild, unsupervised, and utterly performative. Every dollar she drops is basically a public spectacle. She's proof that money doesn't buy discretion, it buys a show, complete with popcorn and a front row seat for the internet. Britney's living the ultimate cautionary tale, reckless, untamed, and entirely unapologetic. Now, social media is brutal. Every post is dissected, memed, and turned into 1,000 hot takes. And Britney, well, she doesn't even flinch. It's like watching a masterclass on how to be chaotic and get paid for it. Every like, every comment, every share fuels the circus, and she's the ringleader. The internet can't look away, and honestly, neither can I. And let's be real, half of this chaos is on purpose. Britney knows exactly what she's doing. She's the ultimate adult toddler, throwing money, posting wild videos, and watching the world freak out while she sips champagne. The family calls, ignored. The advisors screaming, ignored. Fans gasping, ignored. She's basically saying, thank you for your concern, now go watch me implode in real time. The pop princess is gone, but the chaos queen, she is very much still here.
Are celebrities losing too much weight and getting too thin these days? They think no, but every fan is worried, and rightfully so. Rosé from the K-pop group Blackpink has been sparking major concerns lately. Videos of Rosé performing her solo stage during the St. Denis stop of Blackpink's Born Pink World Tour quickly went viral for all the wrong reasons. Dressed in a cropped bandeau top, Rosé's ribcage could be seen protruding out when she lifted her arms, prompting people to comment that she's basically skin and bones. Many believe she has developed an eating disorder and, hope that she seeks help soon if she does need it. Sarah Hyland has fans deeply worried lately. The Modern Family actress suffered from kidney dysplasia and her weight fluctuated as a result. Not that it has stopped online trolls though from thin shaming her, but thankfully Sarah isn't afraid to hit back. She put out a tweet that said, "My circumstances have put me in a place where I'm not in control of what my body looks like, so I strive to be as healthy as possible, as everyone should. My self-confidence is not rendered from your comments, because I will always be too fat, I will always be too skinny, I will never have enough curves to be called a woman. Love the you set out to be." But fans still want her to seek help and are concerned she may just be lying to herself with this one. Adele is concerning fans lately with her huge transformation. If you can remember, Adele's drastic transformation was the talk of the town back in 2019. The singer kept her weight loss journey under wraps and stunned everyone when she turned up at Drake's 33rd birthday party with a totally different look. It was later revealed that Adele started working out daily to manage her anxiety, and her workouts consisted mainly of weightlifting and circuit training. She said in an interview, "It was never about losing weight, it was always about becoming strong and giving myself as much time every day without my phone." But fans are concerned that she's become dependent actually on the GLP-1 medication Ozempic. Ariana Grande still is sparking major concerns amongst fans in regards to her weight and overall health. It must be frustrating to receive comments about your weight every time you post a photo or video, no matter how well-meaning. Ariana Grande took to TikTok to address the growing concerns over her weight loss, reminding people that it is best to refrain from commenting on somebody else's body. She said, "The body that you've been comparing my current body to was the unhealthiest version of my body." She further explained that she was on antidepressants and drinking and on top of eating poorly, now calling it the lowest point in her life. Jet Li has sparked major concerns recently over his health. We know Jet Li as a martial artist and action star, so it came as a shock to many when photos of him looking very gaunt and frail surfaced. Amidst the outpouring of concern, Jet Li's manager clarified that the actor was in good health and there was nothing to worry about, chalking his frail appearance to an unflattering angle and lightning. That said, Jet Li was actually diagnosed with hyperthyroidism in 2010, which he is managing with medication. Now, what stars have you concerned that they are slipping away slowly but surely? Let me know.
Hailey Bieber just accidentally set the internet on fire about her marriage, and now she's pretending it didn't happen. Honey, the receipts are real, the rumors are spicy, and social media is already sharpening its claws. I'm Emily, and today we're talking about Hailey and Justin Bieber, because apparently being married in Hollywood comes with a full-time viral scandal manager. Now, a TikTok went viral calling Hailey's marriage, let's be polite with this, complicated. And suddenly the internet decided Hailey is either a victim, a villain, or just really bad at social media. Some TikTok popped up describing celebrity relationships as being built on a woman tolerating mediocrity and abuse. And guess whose names were attached? Hailey and Justin Bieber. Yes, the couple everyone thinks is picture perfect. Now, this video implied that Hailey is staying married while putting up with emotional imbalance, addiction rumors, and frankly, drama that would make your therapist retire. And here's where it gets messy. Screenshots were circulating suggesting Hailey herself reposted it, and people went absolutely bananas. Twitter exploded, Instagram comments piled up, and Reddit, don't even get me started. Now everyone suddenly became a detective, therapist, and gossip columnist rolled into one. Now the assumption, if you repost it, you agree with it, which in social media land is basically a public confession. But wait, Hailey, she clapped back. In true social media diva style, she went on Instagram stories and said, and I quote, "Hey, I know you guys who live on the internet are really bored, but I didn't repost any video speaking on my relationship." Translation, stop obsessing cousin. She denied it, deleted anything that looked questionable, and yet the rumor refuses to die. Now, here's the tea. Justin and Hailey still appear united publicly. They're married, they have a child, and they're trying to maintain that glossy Hollywood image. But in the meantime, the internet is dragging Hailey through the mud, accusing her of everything from subtle shade to blatant confession, all without a shred of proof. Social media doesn't care about facts, it cares about the drama, and baby, this drama is in HD. And let's be honest, Hailey could handle this with grace, but grace doesn't make headlines. The story isn't about denial, it's about optics. Screenshots, repost rumors, TikTok commentary. Suddenly, Hailey is the poster child for accidental celebrity scandal, and social media is treating it like a national emergency. Love her or hate her, the story is feeding the gossip machine at full throttle. So, there you have it. Hailey Bieber, TikTok chaos, social media frenzy, denial, and yet still the main character in everyone else's obsession. Did she repost it? Probably not. Did the internet care? Well, of course not. Will this die down? Honey, this is Hollywood. Rumors never retire. They just get fancier hashtags.
Caitlyn Jenner is apparently not okay, and Kylie and Kendall, well, they're beyond concerned. So apparently Kendall and Kylie Jenner are officially in worried daughter mode, and honestly, it sounds serious. A source close to the family told Globe that the sisters are extremely worried about their dad, Caitlyn Jenner, who's reportedly been isolating herself lately, and when even the most, booked and busy Jenners hit pause to check in, well, it's real. According to insiders, Caitlyn's been introverted and reclusive ever since she lost her best friend and longtime manager, Sophia Hutchins, in a tragic ATV accident back in July. Sophia wasn't just her manager, she was like Caitlyn's right-hand person, her daily sounding board, and pretty much the anchor of her world. Losing someone like that would mess anyone up. Now, sources say Caitlyn's been ignoring calls, staying, kind of holed up in her house for weeks, and her whole routine is completely off. Sleep schedule, it's all over the place. Self-care, nowhere to be found. Apparently, she's not even keeping up with her usual habits, and for Caitlyn, that's a big deal. This is someone who, used to wake up at sunrise to train for the Olympics, and now she's struggling to even pick up the phone. And while most families would panic quietly, the Jenners are, well, the Jenners. So Kendall and Kylie are reportedly begging everyone else in the clan to check in on Caitlyn more often, which is kind of refreshing because, between Kylie's billionaire beauty empire and Kendall's endless runway schedule, it's not often you see them this genuinely concerned about anything other than lip gloss shades or fashion week fittings. Now, with the holidays coming up, the sisters apparently think Caitlyn needs more love and emotional support right now, but when they suggested, she see a life coach, Caitlyn was not having it. The insider said she's fiercely independent and refuses to accept help. Classic Jenner stubbornness, if you ask me. Now, Caitlyn's basically the definition of, I can handle it myself, but at 76, that kind of energy can sometimes backfire. I mean, she did speak publicly about Sophia's passing, in an interview with Fox News back in August. I mean, Caitlyn said, and I quote, "Recently, my good friend Sophia passed away in a tragic accident. For the last 7 weeks, I've been dealing with passing, and it's so difficult." You could feel the heartbreak in her voice. Sophia wasn't just someone she worked with. She'd been a part of Caitlyn's life since her I Am Kate reality show days, and even took over as her manager after Caitlyn split from Kris Jenner. That's not just a business relationship, that's family. It's honestly kind of heartbreaking to hear that Caitlyn's been struggling in silence, especially after everything she's done to stay strong and visible post-transition. For years, she was one of the loudest voices for the trans community in Hollywood. I mean, always polished, confident, and media ready, but behind the scenes, it sounds like she's been completely thrown off balance by this loss. And it's not like Caitlyn has the easiest relationship with the Kardashian-Jenner empire to begin with. I mean, things between her and Kris have been complicated ever since their split, and the dynamic with Kim and Khloé has always been chilly, to put it nicely. So it makes sense that Kendall and Kylie, her biological daughters, would feel a bigger sense of responsibility here. Still, it's kind of wild that, you know, the woman who once conquered the Olympic decathlon, the ultimate test of mental and physical strength, is now being described as fragile, withdrawn, and disconnected. Fame, age, and grief are a brutal combo, even for reality royalty. Fans online have already started speculating about what's really going on. Some think Caitlyn might be battling depression after Sophia's passing. Others think she's just trying to protect her peace in private. But with the spotlight she's lived under for decades, disappearing for too long only makes people worry more. Hopefully, the family's efforts pay off and Caitlyn finds some comfort soon, whether that's reconnecting with her daughters, getting professional support, or just remembering how much she's already survived. Say what you want about the Jenners, but when they rally behind one of their own, it's usually because something's really going on. Is Jessica Simpson okay? Fans are deeply worried. Jessica Simpson is trending again, but not for a comeback tour or a new fashion line. No, this time it's because people are seriously concerned after she had a, let's call it an unexpected moment live on national television. Let's set the scene. It's July 23rd, 2025. Jessica's on the Today Show promoting her new short film, Sincerely Jules. She's smiling, waving, looking, you know, radiant as ever, but then something happens that has the internet spiraling. As she's being introduced, cameras catch Jessica with what appears to be a noticeable wet stain on her pants, and before anyone could chalk it up to spilled water or just like a wardrobe malfunction, Jessica herself blurts out, "I peed my pants." Live, on air, she did that, and not like in a quirky, haha, I laughed way too hard kind of way. It was awkward, like unfiltered, unedited, and it instantly went viral. Within minutes, Jessica Simpson Today Show was trending on Twitter, TikTok, Reddit, like you name it. And it wasn't just because of the pee, it was like everything, her behavior, her energy, the slurred words, the sudden loud laughter. And here's where it gets really messy. People aren't just roasting her, they're asking, is Jessica okay? Like, really okay? Is she having a moment, or is this a deeper issue that's finally surfacing? Comments flooded in with the most saying, why is no one talking about how off she seems? She looks like she's on something. This isn't funny, it's sad. And then came the classic, someone check on her, please. Now, to be fair, Jessica has always been unapologetically herself. I mean, she's goofy, she's blunt, and she's never been afraid to like own her awkwardness. But fans say this felt different. Less funny awkward, more like, wait, should we be worried? BuzzFeed broke it down, highlighting how this isn't the first time Jessica's behavior has raised eyebrows. In fact, she's had a few recent appearances where she seemed not quite all there. And when you stack those on top of this, you know, pee moment, well, you can see why people are freaking out, right? I mean, of course, others jumped into her defense, saying, you know, she's a mom of 3, maybe she sneezed too hard, it happens. I mean, you try being 40-something and holding it on live TV, so she probably had a nervous bladder, leave her alone. Totally fair points, but here's where things really shift. What's fueling the concern isn't just what happened, it's the vibe. Fans are picking up on something deeper. Jessica's eyes look glassy. I mean, her speech offbeat, her body language kind of all over the place. And while nobody wants to jump to conclusions, this isn't the first time rumors about her well-being have surfaced. Let's not forget, Jessica's been candid about how past struggles with substance dependency issues. In her memoir, Open Book, she openly talked about, you know, alcohol, pills, and hitting rock bottom before getting sober. So when fans see, you know, behavior that maybe echoes the past, it hits different. It's not just gossip, it's worry. So far, Jessica hasn't issued a statement, no reps have commented, no clarifications, not even like a cheeky Instagram post, you know, turning the situation into a joke. And that silence, honestly, it's only basically fanning the flame. Is Selena Gomez really okay? Because after that picture-perfect wedding with Betty Blanco, fans are starting to think something might be off behind the scenes. The photos were dreamy, the smiles were big, but if you look closer, the cracks are showing. The wedding went down in late September in Santa Barbara. Now, it was intimate, beautiful, and loaded with celebrity sparkle. Selena shared emotional moments from the big day, her handwritten vows, candid shots in her pajamas, and the moment she left the reception early with Benny. It looked like the ultimate fairy tale ending, except fans noticed what wasn't there just as much as what was. For starters, Selena and Benny didn't go for a typical wedding registry. Instead of gifts, they asked guests to donate to the Rare Impact Fund, Selena's mental health charity. That detail spoke volumes. This wasn't just a marriage, it was a message. It said, we're doing things differently. This is about purpose, but it also made fans wonder if Selena was trying to keep things more symbolic and less personal, maybe a way of protecting herself emotionally. Then there's the wedding dress, or rather, the dresses. Selena wore multiple custom Ralph Lauren gowns, and one of them had secret embroidery stitched inside the fabric. It was her and Benny's initials and their wedding date. It was heartfelt, but almost too perfect, the kind of sentimental detail people create when they're trying to make something last forever or remind themselves that it's real. And of course, the prenup, apparently it was firm, no questions asked. Sources said it wasn't about mistrust, but respect. Still, it raised some eyebrows, because for a couple that claims to be built on love and openness, drawing such a hard financial line felt very telling. It might have been smart, but it also showed that Selena isn't entering this new chapter with blind faith, not after everything she's been through. Then came the family drama. Rumors exploded online that Selena's mom, Mandy Teefey, was snubbed from walking her daughter down the aisle. But Mandy clapped back on social media, calling the story ridiculous. She said, she made it clear she wasn't heard and that she was thrilled Selena's grandfather had the honor instead. She said the ceremony was beautiful, that it was all about love, and that she couldn't be happier for them. But what fans noticed was what she didn't say, like why Selena's father wasn't part of that big moment, or why that rumor hit so hard to begin with. And then there's the missing person everyone can't stop talking about, Francia Reza. Now remember, Francia is the woman who literally donated a kidney to Selena in 2017, a gesture, most of us couldn't ever imagine. For years, their friendship was the gold standard. But things changed. By 2023, Francia admitted they'd fallen out of touch. She said there wasn't drama, just distance, and that, they needed time apart. So when Francia didn't show up at the wedding, well, people noticed. She wasn't on the guest list, she didn't post anything, and she was spotted somewhere else that same weekend. That silence hit very hard. It made fans wonder if that no drama claim was more damage control than reality. Katy Perry's behavior has everyone seriously worried, and honestly, after what's been coming out, we might need to be. So apparently, Katy's been in this emotional spiral where people close to her are saying she needed constant attention and constant reassurance from Orlando Bloom when they were together, like full-time emotional babysitting. We're talking texts, calls, and little, do you still love me check-ins on loop. And if you've ever dealt with a guy who leaves you on red, you can feel that pain. But for Katy, this isn't just about a breakup. It's like her whole pop princess persona is starting to crack right down the middle. Now, here's where things get juicy. She just dropped a song called Band-Aids, and the lyrics sound like a cry for help with glitter on top. Lines like, I tried my best, and it's not what you did, it's what you didn't. Girl, that's not a pop song. That's a therapy session with a beat. She's exhausted, done patching up things that, keep falling apart, but instead of hiding it, she's turning her heartbreak into art, and low-key, that's the most Katy Perry thing ever. But people who know her say this breakup with Orlando Bloom hit different. After years together, a whole engagement, and a daughter, this wasn't supposed to be just another Hollywood we grew apart situation. The insiders say she started needing reassurance nonstop, like not diva energy, but anxious energy. And honestly, when someone who's lived half their life under flashing lights starts chasing, emotional attention in private, it's honestly a red flag. And then because 2025 is apparently a simulation, she gets linked to Justin Trudeau. Yes, Canada's former prime minister. Let that sink in. The woman who once rode into an award show on a giant lion is now dating the guy who used to run an entire country. But it's giving international rebound. Honestly, sources say Katy wanted someone older, more stable, less actor who's never home, more guy who reads, briefings before breakfast and ruins countries. And honestly, good for her. After Orlando, she clearly wanted to upgrade to emotional Wi-Fi that actually connects. But still, people are worried because Katy's energy lately feels off. She's been showing up to events looking distracted, kind of dazed, and not her usual, hyper colorful, bubbly self. Then there's this weird disconnect as well. It's like she's trying to hold everything together while the seams are quietly unraveling. But here's Here's the thing, when a pop star hits this level of emotional transparency, it can go one of two ways. Either it's the breakdown before the breakthrough, or it's the full-blown celebrity spiral phase that tabloids love to milk. And for someone who spent over a decade being the face of fun, bubblegum empowerment, watching her, crumble a little is honestly uncomfortable. Fans are noticing, the press is circling, and everyone's kind of whispering the same thing. Is Katy okay? Now, I'm not saying she's losing it. I'm just saying she's losing grip on the version of herself she's been performing for years. The one who smiles through heartbreak, the one who turns every personal disaster into, a glittery empowerment anthem. You can only shake it off so many times before you just sit down and say, I'm tired, right? And maybe that's what we're seeing. Maybe this is the first time Katy Perry's not pretending to be okay. And honestly, it's relatable because sometimes you don't want to be a brand, you just want to be a person who's allowed to break. I mean, whether dating Justin Trudeau is a new chapter or just another distraction, we'll see. But one thing's for sure, Katy's not the carefree candy queen anymore. Either way, this next era of Katy Perry is about to be one wild ride. And I don't know if we should be cheering, calling someone to check in on her, I have no clue. But Madonna has been hit with a major health scare. Here's all we know. In 2023, Madonna came closer to demise than anyone could have imagined. For the first time, she's opening up about just how terrifying it really was. And this isn't one of her classic reinventions or staged headlines. This was real, raw, and nearly fatal. She revealed that while rehearsing for her celebration tour, her body suddenly just gave out. One day she was working like the superstar machine she's always been, and the next, she was in the ICU, hooked up to machines, fighting for her life. She was unconscious for 4 full days. Think about that. 4 days where no one knew if the Queen of Pop was going to wake up or not. Doctors discovered that she had sepsis, one of the most dangerous medical conditions you can get. It starts with an infection, but then your immune system turns against you, causing massive inflammation. Your blood pressure plummets, your organs begin to fail, and every second counts. Many people don't survive it. And here was Madonna, the woman who's been on top of the world for 4 decades, facing the same brutal reality as anyone else. For most of her career, Madonna has lived with this untouchable image, bold, fearless, unstoppable. She admitted she thought of herself as Superwoman, like she could bulldoze through anything. But when she woke up after those 4 days, she said she had no strength, no energy, and couldn't even get out of bed. She didn't know how long it would last or if she'd ever feel normal again. For the first time in her life, she was powerless. What pulled her through wasn't just medicine, it was mindset. She leaned into her spiritual side, drawing strength from her Kabbalah teachings. Her teacher gave her one message she held on to, which was radical acceptance. Accept what's happening, accept that you don't know when it will end, don't drown yourself in why me. Now, she admitted that, wallowing in self-pity only makes the suffering worse, so instead, she surrendered. And in that surrender, she somehow found strength. She's been honest about how much the thought of permanent damage haunted her. She said she's heard of people who never recover after sepsis, and that even if they do live, they're never the same again. Imagine living with that fear, wondering if your body will betray you again. But she refused to let it define her. Instead, she chose to fight inch by inch, day by day, clawing her way back. A few months later, when she marked the 1-year anniversary of her hospitalization, she called her recovery nothing short of miraculous. She wrote that life is beautiful and that she doesn't take her second chance for granted. But make no mistake, this wasn't a glamorous comeback montage. This was ugly, it was terrifying. This was Madonna stripped down to her most human self. And that's what makes this moment so powerful. This isn't about chart-topping hits or iconic tours or scandalous headlines. This is about survival. It's a reminder, that no amount of fame, money, or status can shield us from our own bodies. Even Madonna, the woman who has reinvented herself 100 times over, had to face her own mortality. Nickelodeon child stars are struggling big time and fans are begging them to get help ASAP. Tyler Chase, the guy who played Martin on Ned's declassified school survival guide, isn't just where they are now, he's where he is now, literally on the streets. What used to be a goofy middle school survival guide character has turned into a heartbreaking real life struggle that's now trending everywhere. Viral videos have been circulating showing Tyler unrecognizable, living homeless, and once a face in millions of living rooms, now a man going day to day without a home, and people are shocked. Fans are divided. Some are trying to help, others are begging people to stop filming him like he's, a zoo exhibit. Even former Mighty Ducks star Shaun Weiss, who's been open about his own battles, pleaded with fans to stop taking selfies with him. And the wildest part, authorities have said because of California's strict laws, they literally can't force him into long-term care against his will. They did short psychiatric holds, but after that, he's back on the streets because he refused help. Some of his old co-stars have tried to step in as well. Daniel Curtis Lee tracked him down, bought him a warm meal, and even got him a hotel room, only for the situation though to go sideways and the room reportedly got trashed. Meanwhile, Devin Werkheiser says it's gut-wrenching to see a friend spiraling. You know, this isn't just a sad celebrity moment, it's a reminder of how Hollywood treats kids like candy, you know, cute, flashy, disposable once the credits roll, and it's not an isolated nightmare. Look at Amanda Bynes, once the queen of the Amanda Show and a Hollywood sweetheart whose life after Nickelodeon was filled with very public struggles and substance dependency issues, legal battles, conservatorship, and mental health issues. She spent years in and out of facilities, literally fighting for her own well-being. Now she's in a much better spot, studying fashion and reconnecting with her creativity, but the journey of survival was ugly in public. Then there's Ariana Grande, who starred in Victorious and Sam and Cat. She gained Grammys, sold out tours, but even she admitted she's been reprocessing her child acting past and how being thrust into the spotlight young affected her, and she's advocating for better protection for kids in the industry. And the conversation goes deeper, right? The Quiet on Set documentary exposed a lot of the dark stuff under the Nickelodeon surface stories of toxic work environments and industry exploitation that people are still unpacking. So the truth is this, you know, it's not weird that a kid who grew up filming pranks and slime baths is now struggling. It's a giant flashing sign that Hollywood built these kids up without building support systems to hold them up once the camera's turned off, you know? So whether it's bipolar disorder, homelessness, substance dependency issues, or mental health battles, the issues run deeper than nostalgia clips and viral TikToks. And before you scroll past, you know, you have to remember these aren't just memes, these are real humans where childhood fame never came with a manual for adulthood. We laugh at their antics in reruns, we scroll right past them, you know, when real life hits. Now fans aren't just asking what happened, they're begging for help, begging for therapy, begging for compassion, because watching someone's life unfold like this, it's not entertainment, it's a warning sign.
Ahead of her new album's release, Miley Cyrus shared with the world a medical struggle she's been dealing with that impacts her singing. Miley revealed that she's been diagnosed with Rinke's edema, which is a vocal cord disorder that she says causes her signature sound. Now, during an interview on Apple Music's The Zane Lowe Show, Miley described the disorder as abuse of the vocal cords. She went on to say, being 21 and staying up and drinking and smoking and partying after every show does not help. But also, in my case, it does not cause it. My voice always sounded like this, so it's a part of my unique anatomy, she explained. So I have this very large polyp on my vocal cord, which has given me a lot of the tone and texture that has made me who I am. But it also makes touring challenging because the condition creates the ultimate vocal fry, she said. Now, the symptoms of the disorder really affect Miley as they cause changes in vocal quality or loudness, a gradual deepening of the voice, as well as hoarseness or raspiness. Now, due to this, Miley says live performances are hard for her, which is why she doesn't do them as often now. Miley said, it's extremely difficult to perform because it's like running a marathon with ankle weights on, she said. Even when I'm talking sometimes at the end of the day, I'll call my mom and she'll go, oh, you sound like you're talking through a radio. And that's how you know I'm really tired, because it creates that ultimate vocal fry. My voice is super unique because of it, she added. Now, due to all of this, even if Miley wants to tour, she would have to be super careful about it. She said that it would have to be done in a way that is sustainable, allowing her to sing without it being too taxing. Now, Miley is a true artist though, because she doesn't want to lip sync at her shows, she wants to really perform for her fans. Now, this could mean doing a small amount of shows spaced out to preserve her voice, but if she doesn't do a certain number of concerts, a tour won't mathematically make sense, since tickets need to cover the cost of her crew and other expenses, which is just something she would need to think about. Now, there are treatment options for this disease, but Miley refuses to go the surgical route. She said she's not willing to sever it because the chance of waking up from a surgery and not sounding like myself is a probability, she said, which I completely understand if we're being honest here. Now, this isn't Miley's only health scare, as she also revealed that during her 2023 NBC New Year's Eve special, co-hosted with Dolly Parton, that she went through the show despite suffering from an undiagnosed medical emergency possibility of a ruptured ovarian cyst. "I had a pretty traumatic experience on a show that I was doing with Lorne Michaels," she shared in an interview. "We didn't know exactly what was going on. It was extremely excruciating, and I did the show anyway," she said. Now, it honestly sounds like Miley needs to take a break and take care of herself the best that she can.
Ariana Grande and Ethan Slater are still wickedly in love, or are they? These are some red flags in the relationship you may not have noticed. One of the biggest red flags in Ariana Grande and Ethan Slater's relationship is the timeline. They met on the set of Wicked in late 2022 when both were still legally married, Ariana to Dalton Gomez and Ethan to Lily J. Their divorces came later, but the overlap has raised a lot of eyebrows. When a new romance begins before old commitments are fully resolved, it creates questions about trust and honesty from the very start. The second red flag is how quickly the relationship moved. Both Ariana and Ethan seemed to jump into things almost immediately after their marriages ended. That kind of speed can be dangerous because without time to heal, people often carry unresolved baggage into the next relationship. Quick rebounds tend to spark comparisons, insecurities, and emotional overlap. Now, the third red flag is how defensive the public response has been. Rumors of cheating and betrayal flooded social media and headlines, and Ariana herself has pushed back by criticizing the tabloids and calling the coverage negativity. But refusing to clarify details while shutting down the conversation only fuels more speculation. When you're constantly on the defense, it suggests there may be more beneath the surface. Another major red flag is the impact on the people left behind. Ethan's ex-wife Lily J has said she was blindsided and called her family collateral damage. That kind of public pain doesn't just disappear, it lingers, and it can create tension in a new relationship when the past still feels unsettled. And finally, there's the shift from private to public. For months, Ariana and Ethan kept things very quiet, no red carpets, no PDA, no confirmation. Then suddenly, they stepped out together hand in hand at a major event, putting their relationship on display. That transition often exposes cracks. When you go from secrecy to spotlight, even flaw, or every flaw, is magnified and every doubt is questioned. So what does this all mean? Red flags don't always mean a relationship will fail, but they are signals that something needs attention, honesty, and work. For Ariana and Ethan, the timeline, the speed, the defensiveness, the collateral damage, and the sudden spotlight are all factors that could make or break them. The real question is whether they can face the past openly and build something that can survive the pressure. Fans are seriously concerned for North West lately. Here's why, let's dig into it. It feels like I blinked and North West transformed from celebrity kid to full-on style enigma. And no, that's not a compliment. North, age 12, daughter of Kim Kardashian and Kanye West, has been stepping out in looks that have people online saying, what in the Kanye is happening here? We're talking fake tattoos, fake piercings, heavy makeup, and the outfits that scream grown woman in a rebellious phase, more than, preteen who still watches cartoons. Now look, fashion at 12 isn't the issue. Confidence and creativity, we love that. But when a kid's outfit has, adults wondering if they accidentally clicked on the wrong part of the internet, that's when you start asking kind of what's really going on here. And her latest look had her channeling something between Rockstar Runway and Halloween Came Early. She's rocking dark makeup, fake ink, edgy jewelry, and a kind of don't talk to me attitude that belongs, on someone who just got out of a band breakup, not middle school math class. I mean, fans instantly reacted like, wait, isn't she 12? And honestly, they're not wrong for asking that because this isn't about fashion, it's about boundaries. When a child is styled like a grown woman for shock value, it's not cool parenting, it's a PR move disguised as expression, and that's the real problem here. Even Kim herself admitted she made mistakes when it comes to North's wardrobe choices, which finally some self-awareness, but it's hard to play the protective mom card when your daughter's dressed like a background dancer from a bad nightclub scene in a music video, right? And let's not ignore the obvious. When it comes to, young black girls in the spotlight, people are always extra quick to judge what's appropriate or too grown, but that doesn't mean we can't call out how off this situation feels, because what's happening here with North isn't cultural, policing, it's concern. I mean, here's the thing, childhood is short, fame is forever, and when your childhood is spent being a headline, being a brand, being a walking aesthetic for your parents' image, there's not much room left for being a kid. So what's seriously, wrong with North West? It's not really her personality, her creativity, or her confidence. It's the fact that she's being raised inside a fishbowl of fame where going viral is valued more than growing up. We've seen this movie before. Young star kids turn public, spectacles before they even hit high school. It's always, starts with she's just expressing herself, and then it ends with, how did no one step in sooner? When adults are more focused on headlines than healthy development, that's a huge red flag, because the truth is North doesn't need to be the next fashion icon. She doesn't need to, carry her parents' legacy at 12 years old. She doesn't need fake tattoos, corsets, or controversy to be interesting. She's already Northwest, a name big enough to trend without trying, and yet the adults around her keep pushing her into grown territory like childhood is something to skip, not live. It's giving brand management, not parenting. It's giving publicity stunt, not protective mom. So let's call it what it is, performance, the shock factor, the styling, the fake rebellion. It's all part of the Kardashian West formula. Keep the name trending no matter what it takes. And unfortunately, the kid is now part of the production. If you take away the fame, the filters, and the flashing lights, you've got a 12-year-old girl who deserves to find herself privately, not through paparazzi lenses. So, I think she deserves to figure out who she is without the internet turning her outfits into social commentary. Is little tiny Timmy doing okay? Fans are slightly concerned. Timothée Chalamet is not okay, and honestly, neither am I after watching the very chaotic fever dream he just dropped on the internet. So Timmy posts this 18-minute Zoom call with his marketing team to promote his new movie, Marty Supreme, and people were immediately like, blink twice if you need help. It starts normal enough until it very much doesn't. He shows up in a yellow tank top talking about how humbling it is to be working with the team while literally, listing off his own career like it's a TED talk about himself. He's like, amazing movie after amazing movie after amazing movie, as if he's accepting an Oscar for existing. And then he starts yelling Schwepp every time he mentions the director. I don't know what that means. I don't think he knows what it means, but he commits to it fully. Then he starts pitching his ideas for promoting the movie, and it genuinely feels like watching someone try to speed run, a midlife crisis. He says the movie needs its own signature color, but not Barbie pink. No, it needs like a hardcore corroded orange inspired by table tennis balls type of vibe. Then he pulls up mock-ups of world landmarks like the Statue of Liberty and the Eiffel Tower, all painted orange. Honestly, it's giving global domination, but make it arts and crafts. And then things escalate. He suggests dropping thousands of ping pong balls onto fans at a music festival from a massive orange blimp. A blimp he refuses to ride in because he's afraid of flying. So his plan is basically traumatize the public from above while he supervises safely from the ground. He ends this meeting by insisting on, a 1-minute meditation, and then cherry on top, he demands everyone sign NDAs so nobody leaks his brilliant ideas. Right after he's literally leaked the entire thing himself. The internet did not hold back. Some people said it was so awkward they had to pause it for emotional support. Others said it felt like he was doing an experiment to see how far he could push a fake macho persona before the public, files a wellness check. One person genuinely wondered if he was spiraling in real time, surrounded by a room full of yes men. But here's where it gets good. Once people realized it was satire, the whole mood flipped. Suddenly everyone was calling it genius, saying he was serving Nathan Fielder energy, deadpan, painfully awkward, and disturbingly committed. And honestly, they're not wrong. I mean, it's giving method actor, but for marketing. Because, this is all for Marty Supreme, a movie about a table tennis legend, and instead of doing normal press, he's turned the promo itself into performance art. He's literally, parroting Hollywood celebrity branding and his own persona all at once. I mean, it's weird, it's confusing, it's, Cam, it's just honestly absolutely working. I mean, love him or cringe at him, he got everyone talking, and that's the whole point, right? So, I mean, after watching that Zoom call, I'm torn between buying a ticket and honestly doing a mental health check through the screen. But one thing's for sure, Timothée Chalamet is not okay, and this might be the best thing he's done in years. Britney Spears needs serious help, but her family is way too scared to intervene. Where do we go from here? Well, let's dive in. Britney Spears' family is terrified to step in, and honestly, can you blame them? Every time they've tried to help, it's blown up in their faces. The public turns on them, the media twists every move, and suddenly they're the villains again. So now they do the one thing that feels safest, they stay away. Not because they don't care, but because they're scared. Scared of her reaction, scared of the backlash, and scared of being painted as the bad guys in the story that never ends. Meanwhile, Britney's out here posting videos that make it impossible impossible to look away. Her latest one shows her in a hot pink dress, spinning, twirling, and smiling like everything's fine, except it's not. In the caption, she casually drops that she fell down the stairs at a friend, that her knee snapped out, and that she actually popped it back into place herself. Let that sink in. She didn't go to the hospital, she didn't call for help, she just forced her own knee back in where it belongs and said a quick thank you God and went right back to dancing on camera. It's classic Britney, beautiful chaos, equal parts strength and heartbreak, the kind of movement that makes her fans worry and her family panic because it just kind of shows, how alone she really is. Now, think about it from her family side. They've been burned before hard, they've seen what happens when they intervene, and they've lived through the conservatorship, the public court battles, the whole Free Britney movement that turned the entire world against them. So when they see her injured, spinning, talking about snapping her knee back into place, they don't actually rush in, they freeze, because no matter what they do, they lose. If they help, they'll be accused of controlling her again. If they don't help, they're called heartless. So they do nothing, and that nothing starts to look like neglect. But for them, it's just survival. Britney, on the other hand, keeps sharing. She keeps performing her pain online, and it's her only outlet, her only stage, and every post feels like a silent scream. I'm hurting, no one's here. But the people who should be there, the ones who know her best, are terrified of stepping into that fire again. So she dances through it, twisting, limping, smiling through the pain that's both physical and emotional. And while her knee might be back in place, everything else still feels fractured. Trust, family, and whatever kind of sense of safety she once had. That's the real story here. Not just that Britney fell, but that she had to fix herself, literally. Her family's fear has left her stranded in her own spotlight, patching herself together in front of millions. And that's what makes it all so tragic, because even when she's down, broken, Britney Spears still has to be her own rescue. The before and after photos of the cast of Wicked will make you ask one simple question: what happened in Oz? Because they all just look so sickly now. Ariana Grande. Okay, let's start with the obvious one. Ariana Grande, the Wicked promo photos dropped, and suddenly the internet was like, is Glinda okay? Blink twice if you need electrolytes. Ariana went from bubblegum pop princess to Victorian ghost who's still learning how to process sunlight. And look, part of it is the Wicked aesthetic. They shot this movie like they were trying to win best cinematography in a fog machine, but people swear she looks drained, pale, and fragile, like she's been living exclusively on matcha vapor and Broadway dreams. The girl is committed to the role, too committed. She went method and accidentally turned into a pastel porcelain doll. Cynthia Erivo. Then there's Cynthia Erivo, our Elphaba. Now the Green Queen herself, usually she looks like she could bench press the entire cast, but lately people say she looks tired. Not bad, just exhausted, in that I've been carrying this whole movie on my back and singing from my life way. Between heavy prosthetics, hours in makeup, and singing notes only dogs can hear, she's giving I need a nap and a raise. Honestly, if I had to be painted green every single day, I'd look sick too. I'd actually just give up halfway and live in the trailer like Shrek. Jonathan Bailey. Next up, we have Jonathan Bailey, who normally glows like he drinks 3 gallons of water and has no toxic people in his life. Suddenly he's looking slimmer, paler, and very I haven't eaten since rehearsal started. People think it's stress. I think it's the Wicked curse. Everybody loses about 500 to 500 pounds and all of their color just from, standing near Elphaba's energy field is gone. This man is the romantic lead, but lately he looks like he's been romantic with a ring light set to maximum interrogation mode. Michelle Yeoh. Now Michelle Yeoh, legend, icon, mother, but even she hasn't escaped the Wicked drain look. She usually looks unstoppable, but the Wicked photos had her giving strict headmistress who just found out, the class cheated again. Not unhealthy, just stressed in that elegant, powerful way where she's 2 seconds away from turning someone into a toad. The makeup, the lighting, the dramatic styling, it's like they said, make her look regal, but also like she hasn't slept since the 90s. Jeff Goldblum. Now there's Jeff Goldblum as the wizard. Usually he looks like a man who moisturizes, with the confidence of someone who knows he's Jeff Goldblum. But Wicked snapped that right out of him. The photos make him look oddly gaunt and ghostly, like he's been trapped in Oz for real and not fed anything but like mysterious green smoke. It's giving eccentric grandpa who knows too much. He doesn't look sick. He just looks kind of magically depleted. I mean, there's a big difference there. Bowen Yang. Now Bowen Yang, who plays one of the Shiz students, normally normally looks bright, lively, and like he's on his way to brunch at all times, but in Wicked, he looks like a stressed out Oz college kid pulling an all-nighter. I mean, bags under his eyes, pale lighting, that faint expression of, I cannot afford another semester of this. Wicked took the sparkle right out of him and replaced it with academic trauma. Ethan Slater, and finally we have Ethan Slater. Oh, Ethan, the man who unintentionally broke the internet by just existing near Ariana Grande. He already had a delicate elfin look, but now fans are like, why does he look one cough away from disappearing? Maybe it's the role, maybe it's the drama, maybe it's the Wicked filter that makes everyone look like they're surviving off prop snacks and studio coffee. Either way, people swear he looks sickly, hollowed out, and spiritually overwhelmed. Honestly, same. If Wicked is about defying gravity, why does everyone look like gravity has been personally attacking them? Maybe it's the lighting, maybe it's the makeup, or maybe this movie is so intense it's literally draining the life from the cast. Either way, something wicked this way comes, and apparently it's dehydration. Will Smith is in some pretty hot water after firing his violinist. Will Smith is being sued, and no, this has nothing to do with award shows, open relationships, or slap memes. This one is weird, uncomfortable, and honestly kind of shocking once you get into the details. A violinist who worked on Will Smith's recent tour has filed a lawsuit claiming SA, retaliation, and wrongful termination. And the story he's telling is, well, not subtle. According to the lawsuit, the violinist Brian King Joseph was hired to perform during Will Smith's Based on a True Story tour. Things were professional at first. He performed with Will, traveled with the tour, and everything seemed normal until the Las Vegas stop. That's where everything allegedly went sideways. Joseph claims that one night after leaving his hotel room, he came back to find someone had entered the room without his permission. Not hotel staff doing housekeeping, not a simple mistake. He says the room had clearly been occupied. Inside, he allegedly found a handwritten note addressed to him that read something like, "I'll be back no later than 5:30, just with a heart." Let's pause right there, because that alone would make literally anyone uncomfortable. But it didn't stop there, no. He claims there were wipes, a beer bottle, a backpack, an earring, hospital discharge papers belonging to like a stranger, and a bottle of HIV medication with someone else's name on it left behind in the room. Now, according to the lawsuit, he panicked. He says he heard that whoever entered the room might return and that he could be put into a very, let's just say, inappropriate situation without his consent. So he did what people, are usually told to do in these situations like this. He reported it. He notified hotel staff, he contacted police, and he reported the incident to tour management. And this is where the lawsuit says things took an even darker turn. Instead of being supportive or supported, Joseph claims he was shamed for reporting what happened. He alleges that members of the tour team treated him like he was overreacting, and then shortly after, he was fired. The official reason given that the tour was going in a different direction, except according to the lawsuit, another violinist was hired almost like immediately to replace him, doing the exact same job. So, I smell sketch, right? Now, Joseph says that proves the firing wasn't about direction at all. He claims it was retaliation for just simply speaking up. Now, the lawsuit accuses Will Smith and the company behind the tour of SA, wrongful termination, retaliation, emotional distress, and as well as causing long-term psychological harm. He says the incident has affected his mental health, his career, and his reputation. And now, listen to me carefully, this part matters because Will Smith denies everything. His legal team has responded by calling the allegations completely false, baseless, and irresponsible. And as of right now, there has been no settlement, no ruling, no verdict. These are allegations laid out in a civil lawsuit, not proven facts. So this becomes one of those situations where people are split down the middle. Some look at it, the level of detail, and say, why would someone make this up? And others look at the situation and say, hotel mix-up happened. This feels like a leap. And honestly, that's why this case is getting so much attention. It raises very uncomfortable questions about power, celebrity, and what happens when someone on a tour, someone who isn't famous, says something, felt wrong. Because regardless of how this case turns out, the court issue is this. What happens when someone reports something unsettling in an environment controlled by powerful people? Are they protected or quietly pushed out? I'll Oprah you. Are they told to be silent or were they silenced by force? Of course. Now, this lawsuit hasn't been decided yet, and the truth will come down to evidence, testimony, and what can actually be proven in court. But one thing's for sure, this is one of the strangest, most unexpected legal battles Will Smith has faced in years. And until it's resolved, it's going to keep people talking. But let me know your thoughts on this.